Hard Lessons, poem for a mentor on his retirement. Written and read by Margaret Anna Alice. What strikes you about this poem? Your signature Socratic opening was a running joke among English majors. You never imposed, you elicited. You never told, you listened. Teasing truths from depths we did not know were within us, you allowed the silence to sound the salient. Epiphanies blossoming from the quiet, like dormant bulbs stretching toward April's cruel light. You never closed, you opened. You never coddled, you challenged. Leavening poignancy with humor, honesty with empathy, truth with beauty, you watched us wander our way through the brambles, earning our discoveries like wide-eyed explorers, penciling in the contours of untraversed territory. You never dulled, you sharpened. You never lowered, you elevated. Yvonne Boland, U.A. Fanthorpe, Brian Friel, Eugene O'Neill, William Faulkner, Flann O'Brien, you conducted colloquies with the poets, playwrights, and novelists who illuminate my path today, whose words swathe me during times of loss, like a palimpsest blanketing a lacuna, inspiring us to reach for our highest selves. You strengthened the muscles of our minds, the grit of our characters, the resilience of our spirits. You taught us there is meaning beyond language, myth beyond literature, morality beyond law, valuing integrity over comfort, conscience over compromise, reality over ruse. You held us to a steeling standard, some called harsh, I invigorating. When I exposed corruption, malfeasance, and injustice in probing newspaper articles, from the butchery of campus oaks to the dismissals of wrongthinkers, you championed my truth-seeking, cheered my truth-speaking. If you were impressed, it meant something. If you were disappointed, it meant something. No one knew that better than your daughter, who feared your furrowed brow and prized your proud smile even more than me, who myself considered you the father I'd always wished for, the mentor who was to leave the deepest mark on my being. Remember that day in the library when you found the two of us in the catacomb of discards, 19th century periodicals destined for destruction? We'd been ordered to rip the bindings from their pages, the spines from their signatures. She assumed the task with gusto, fulfilling her assignment like the A+ student she was. I opened the first volume, tentatively tearing the wings from the thorax like a lepidopterist, feeling the rupture in my breast as the musty pages crumbled beneath my fingertips. When I cracked the next volume, my eyes alighted on the table of contents. Now lost to memory, these were names I knew, names I felt. I can't do this, I told her, returning the book to its shelf. This feels like sacrilege. Never one to give up, she persisted. Then you arrived in the doorway, asking what was happening. I said the acquisitions librarian had told us to destroy these books, but I could not do it. I would not do it. You pulled her aside, your disappointed expression being the only course she would ever need in why just obeying orders is the inexcusable excuse of those complicit in tyranny, in genocide. You then rebuked the librarian, rescuing the tomes from demolition and ushering them to shelves befitting of their historic relevance. Painful as it was, this hard lesson carved itself into your daughter's heart, teaching her righteous resistance, peaceful noncompliance, daring disobedience. I practice this homework daily, reciting the one word that distinguishes the courageous from the culpable, the critically thinking from the conforming, the free from the fettered. No. It was a lodestar she would cradle within for the remaining 2 decades of her luminous life, until the thunderclap stroke struck her down, teaching you the hardest lesson of all, the one every parent lives in terror of. Now she is within you, her beloved, her son, her brother, her mother, the innumerable lives she graced with her noble presence, following in your formidable footsteps in the very classroom you are now departing. And you are within me and the thousands of other students you shepherded through translations, getting it across, at Swim Two Birds, Go Down Moses, Long Day's Journey into Night, What We Lost, every text a page in the grand book of life, taking flight like, bright wings, as our days count down toward the silences in which are our beginnings and endings. For good books must always end, but their lessons dwell in our deathless souls for time immemorial.